Let's look at Mark chapter 8, verse 22. This is where Jesus heals a blind man at Bethsaida. And in verse 22, it says, some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. Have you ever been in that spot where you knew you needed help? Where you knew you were at rock bottom? And man, just for whatever reason, you were just resistant to ask for help. In this verse, some people had to bring a man who needed healing. Can you imagine the shame? I can't even ask for help on my own. I can't even bring myself to Jesus on my own. In this lane, guilt, shame, and maybe even grief, especially for those of you that might be exploring other churches, you're grieving what once was and hopeful for what is. But grief and guilt and shame can keep you isolated, and it wants to keep you silent and isolated. And if you allow yourself to do that, the lies that will take root, the lies that will tell you who you are, will be so loud and so painful. Guilt, shame, and grief can be in our way here. In Mark 8:25, this is after the blind man was brought to him. Jesus took him out of the village. He spit on the man's eyes, put his hands on him, and Jesus asked, do you see anything? Even Jesus needed a couple of tries here. He looked up and said, I see people, they look like trees. Verse 25, once more, Jesus put his hands on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were open, his sight restored, and he saw everything clearly. Really practical way for us to get unstuck in this lane in our faith is consider what I need to stop. The man was no longer blind, and he began to see. Consider what I need to stop. Is it gossip? Is it lying? Is it being a workaholic? Is it drinking? Is it drugs? Is it food? Is it porn? Is it defensiveness? Every single one of us has something that just, we get a little stuck. There's nothing wrong with that. But how are we surrendering it? Well, first we have to put words to it, and that's what we're doing today. Consider what I need to stop. This next thing, healing can begin when we think about what a whole confession is. In your message notes, a whole confession is, I stop hiding and admit I have a problem, and I stop thinking I can do it on my own. Many of you have heard my recovery story, but I really was that addict that caused a car wreck, jumped out of my car barefooted. My hair was cement on my head because I hadn't showered in days or weeks. I could admit that I was an addict, but it took me years to admit that I had a problem because I thought I could do it on my own. And the truth is when I thought about confession, I was like, I don't want to drag the skeletons out of my closet. Who wants to do that? And the truth of it was really about Jesus. I really didn't think that through confession, Jesus could do anything with my confession. But I will tell you that once we are able to confess the whole thing, you will not be able to wrap your head around all that God can do when we do those things. Whole confession. Now, let me talk to my married people. If you are married and you have been struggling with something that has been keeping you living the life that God has called you to live, and God finally calls you to confess something, possibly to your spouse, you immediately are going to feel relief. If you've ever done it before, you know that's just like a teaser of what healing feels like. But I need you to remember that your spouse, your loved one, is hearing it for the first time. And so although you feel relief and you are ready to go and you're ready to be obedient to where Jesus is calling you, you need to remember the other person on the other side of you has freedom to process how they process. So just remember that. I see people getting stuck there all the time. We get to a place of confession, relief happens, but the loved one or their spouse is like, hang on, I gotta catch up. Allow them to do that. Now, if you are single, considering dating, this is not first date material. I'm gonna need you not to do that. I have seen that happen as well, and that will not go well. This is like a third or fourth or fifth date conversation. It is not a first date conversation. We good? Okay. Stop hiding and admit I have a problem, and stop thinking that I can do it on my own. And guys, really just the bottom line to this is anything that we keep hidden is the devil's playground. The enemy can do a lot with the things that we hide, but Jesus can heal everything that we bring out front.